views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of BronxNet or the program underwriters.
Hello and welcome to Leaders of the Future, a program produced by Niño de la Caridad Foundation and BronxNet TV. I am Sauris.
And my name is Leah. LOTF is a youth-led program by young people for young people to inspire, motivate, and educate.
That's right, Leah. Today we'll be exploring urban gardening in the Bronx, so stay tuned and enjoy Leaders of the Future. Welcome to Leaders of the Future. Today we'll be discussing urban gardening in the Bronx.
Did you know that the Bronx has the most green space of any borough in New York City?
The Bronx is home to two of the largest public parks in the city, Pelham Bay Park and Van Cortlandt Park.
And it is also home to many community gardens where people can grow and harvest food locally. Let's take a tour of the Target Bronx Community Garden.
Enjoy the tour!
Hi, I'm Stephen Williams. I'm the Bronx Manhattan Zone Gardener for New York Restoration Project, and today we're here at Target Bronx, located at 1025 Anderson Ave here in the Bronx. Take you guys on a little tour of the garden today, see what we got growing. This is a beautiful native flower, Echinacea purpurea, or a cone flower. We got lots growing around the garden. Some herbal properties, but just kind of a beautiful flower that the local gardeners have growing. You can see some starting to come. As you can see here, the garden beds taken care of by our local gardeners, looking so great and lush. This is some nasturtium. As you can see, we got lots of big tomatoes. We got kale in there. The local gardeners really go hard in here to make sure that they can grow as much food as they can, and they do a very good job at it. We'll show you some more that we got. In here you can see this really big squash bed. I don't know if we see any fruit forming, but you can see this kind of like an apparatus that some of the gardeners made to help keep out squirrels, birds, and any other pests that would be getting in and kind of eating some of their plants. So this is really awesome. Lets the sun get in and still able to grow and harvest what they need to. And here we kind of have some cilantro, parsley. You can see some peppers that are still pretty young, some eggplant. Water's coming over. And then in here they have a couple of different fruiting berries. There's blackberry as well as raspberry. Not too many fruits right now, but in later summer we'll start to see some things produce. Got some big Swiss chard bunches that are growing very well. Some snap peas that they got growing up the vine. Some bamboo sticks that they put in here to help the vines grow up. This is just a really cool fixture. I don't know which gardener did it, but they have lots of really cool props and garden fixtures they have all along in here. Just a nice work of art that I think deserves some appreciation. And as you can see, along this whole row, we have an archway that's all grapes. The grapevine has taken it all over, and the gardeners do a very great job of maintaining this. Goes about maybe 10 garden beds long, and it helps support the vines so the grapes could just hang down below, not too high, and the gardeners, it's real easy for them to just pick it off. Yeah, so all these beds are run by the community, so it's truly a community garden. Each of these beds are taken care of by the local members that live nearby or those who volunteered here to get involved. So really most of what you're seeing comes directly from the blood, sweat, and tears of these local community gardens working together and, bringing together this beautiful product that we have here today. It's not too rainy under here. As you can see, lots of the fruits of the grapes are forming, but they're not ready yet, so maybe about another month. But they even have this netting to help support the fruit, as well as this wood structures that the vines can grow along. But yeah. And as you can see, each bed kind of offers different vegetables, a place like this. Lots of cultures meet and blend. It's kind of the true meaning of a community garden is a place where everybody could come and grow together. Doesn't have to all be the same. They're very unique, and I think that's what's special about a place like this, is that everybody can do what they want, grow what they want, but find a common ground to help and grow together. Here's also another really cool area that this garden features. They have a grill and a sink, so lots of different events happen here. Art classes, cooking classes, health and fitness workshops, really anything under the sun. So it's awesome to have a space like this where you could do so much. It really brings all the people in the community together. So they have a couple different composting systems. This one's kind of isolated, so you can see that they're just trying to specifically here just keep food scraps, dead plants, only from the beds, weeds, grasses, and leaves. So that's a little bit more isolated. Whereas here they have more of like a mound composting system where it's a little bit more open, has more breathability. You're trying to mix your browns, your greens. Could be turned a little bit more, but I think that they're leaning more towards over here. They have what we call a 3-bin compost system. So yeah, there's systems like these where you'll start on one side loading up the bulk and turning, and you can switch your browns and your greens over, so you can always have one being loaded with the materials and one that as it's breaking down you can harvest from. So not too much activity in here, but when they do compost they're going to use these systems. Compost could technically be a fertilizer, but it's almost like it helps improve the organic matter of the soil. So by adding compost you're helping almost the food web inside your soil. Your soil should be decomposing, it should be breaking down, and adding compost is sort of like an amendment that helps break that down and add more organic matter, which will in turn be nutrients for your plants and any other thing living in the soil. Microorganisms, fungi, all these things matter and help create a food web that creates happy plants, happy bugs. They're all intertwined and they all create one happy big family. And if you're looking to get involved in a local community garden, if it's an NYRP garden, feel free to go to nyrp.org. Visit our garden section and figure out how you can get involved. If not, just pop into your local community garden. Most gardens love to have the extra hands. There's always weeding to be done, and volunteering is a great way to kind of get inside and see what your community needs and play the role that you can and help out in that garden.
I'm Dante Taylor. I'm the Deputy Director here at NYRP for Community Gardens, and I've been here for 19 years. New York Restoration Project was founded over 25 years ago by Bette Midler. Today we maintain 80 acres of parkland and oversee 52 community gardens across the city. Every year we honor a few of our gardens who went above and beyond that year. This year we're super excited to present them with the NYRP Garden Spotlight Awards.
Our garden group really works well together. We all volunteer together. We share trade secrets. We share seeds. We swap plants, and we just really get along really well.
We have events here as well. We've had movie nights in the garden. We've had music in the garden.
We brought families together in this community during a rough time, and they were able to come outside and enjoy outdoor greenery.
We have had events with the schools where the kids come and they read poetry, they tell stories, or they just have their lunch. And they're surrounded by birds and flowers and, growing vegetables. So that's very rewarding.
People come to these gardens for all sorts of reasons.
I really love composting. Shoveling or chopping or mixing or, all of it.
I think being around nature, it's a nice way to calm down from the everyday city life, the noise, kind of like a stress relief.
I'm a farmer by trade, so this is like my farm in the city, in a sense,
We are so proud of what these groups have accomplished and can't wait to see what they do next.
One of the things that we would love to do here is more events, which would involve book readings, poetry readings, performers, clowns, musicians.
So we've got leafy greens, radishes, vegetables, kale, green beans. We've done potatoes. Last year someone did asparagus, which is new for us. We've done kohlrabi, zucchini, pretty much everything.
On behalf of NYRP, I just want to say thank you to Aberdeen, Betts, Bathgate, and Eastchester for all of your hard work. Because of you, we have so many others who want to be part of our gardens in the communities. So please continue to do the great work, and we are so excited and cannot wait to see what you bring to the spaces next year.
Thank you for staying with us. Today on Leaders of the Future, we'll be exploring urban gardening in the Bronx. For over 25 years, the New York Restoration Project has invested in and stewarded parks and gardens throughout the 5 boroughs. We just explored one of the gardens today. Joining us is Stephen William, Zone Gardener at NYRP. Thank you for joining us, Stephen.
Thank you for having me.
Stephen, can you tell me more about the New York Restoration Project?
Yeah, of course. The New York Restoration Project is a nonprofit nature conservancy that was founded over 25 years ago by Bette Midler. Today, we take care of roughly 80 acres of parkland, as well as 52 community garden spaces, like the one that we're in today, across the 5 boroughs. We also build and renovate 24 new gardens a year through our Gardens for the City program.
You just said that you cover 5 boroughs. Can you tell me more about your job as a zone gardener?
Yeah. So as a zone gardener, particularly, I take care of 22 gardens with my crew of 2 here in the Bronx and Upper Manhattan. So we just come through, we do cleaning, take care of the plants outside of the beds, and make sure that they look good for the gardeners here.
So can you tell me more about the Gardens for the City program?
Yeah, our Gardens for the City program is where we build new gardens or we renovate existing gardens. We do about 24 a year, and anybody can apply on our website, nyrp.org. We usually do it at schools, already existing gardens, or religious spaces, or anywhere really where a green space could be built.
So can you tell me what type of events NYRP hosts, and is it open to the whole community?
Yeah, so NYRP holds all types of events here in the gardens. We do cooking classes, we do arts and crafts, lots of health and fitness workshops, gardening workshops, and really almost any workshop you can think of we hold here. They're open to anybody, and you can go on our website and look at our calendar to see what events we have up and coming and get more information.
What inspires you to do this work?
I think I've always loved gardening for myself and for my family. And last year I was an assistant gardener in Brooklyn with NYRP, and I got to see what community garden was all about. And I just think that it's very important for people to have access to these spaces. So I just wanted to put myself in a position to help out more in this space.
You just said gardens are important for the community. Why do you think gardening is important for the community?
I think these spaces are a place of peace and tranquility, especially in a city that's very surrounded by concrete and buildings. At NYRP, we believe that access to a green space is a fundamental right, and every day we try to ensure that New Yorkers have access to clean green spaces.
Can you please tell me where we could find more about NYRP?
Yeah, so if you wanted, you could go to our website, nyrp.org, and we'll have listed past and upcoming events, projects that we worked on. You could even see like our full list of people who work there, and any other information you need you can find on our website.
Can you please tell us how the community and the youth could get involved?
Yeah, I would say don't be shy, you know. If you have a local community garden near you, pop in and see if you could give a helping hand. I know that especially right now, there's a lot of work to be done, whether it's pulling weeds or, you know, helping with the compost. I think just trying to get involved and volunteering is a good way to get your foot in the door, and just being around, you know, and helping these people keep these spaces clean and green.
Thank you for joining us, Stephen. Thank you for giving us this amazing tour and chatting with us. We'll be back with more Leaders of the Future in a second.
Hello, and thanks for staying with us on Leaders of the Future. We're talking about urban gardening in the Bronx today.
Today, we've caught up with Henry Obispo, a Bronx social entrepreneur who founded ReBORN Farms. Let's check it out.
Yeah, so ReBORN Farms, the way I define it, is an eco-gastronomy movement, really, in the community, where we focus on growing food locally, centering community, centering areas that have been in many ways disadvantaged, specifically in public housing. And our idea is to have people empower themselves through the process of growing food, through the process of eating healthy food, and being able to also attain employment in the future economy that is green technology. In 2015, NYCHA and HUD and other agencies got together to build a facility that could serve the community, and it became the first of its kind nationally in public housing. And so our idea is that we want to promote this as the norm moving forward. And so our launch this year of the facility, of the space, is to really solidify these ideas around community, around normalcy with farming as well as NYCHA. If you think of oases, like creating an oasis in the community, clearly we're in one, St. Mary's Park. And this has served pretty much the entire South Bronx because we don't have many parks in the South Bronx. This is really our lung. And if you think of decentralizing green spaces, right, and placing them specifically in areas that we not just live, but we engage and we thrive, then it's a no-brainer that we focus on NYCHA because it's also the population that's been so disinvested in. And so when you think of green spaces, but you also think of food, the idea of creating farms is the way forward, especially when we're thinking of resiliency, when we're thinking of food justice, but more importantly, food sovereignty in our communities. NYCHA plays a big role, and farming in NYCHA and engaging in ecological ways of engagement through agricultural technology is very important for the future of NYCHA residents, but I think for the future employments, right, for future jobs, that we engage in this area of just economic development. And one of the ways that we see the solution is to become that community buffer where we can engage community. For example, in one of our proposed locations on 135th Street between Lincoln Avenue and 3rd Avenue, adjacent to Mitchell houses, is for us to create a food and farm laboratory where we could grow food, we could create a pipeline of employment, we can do educational components there as well through our partnerships, and also create this idea of a marketplace that could be serving the community in this very revolutionary idea of harvest to order, right? Where you can grow the food, you can harvest it for the people that is, that live in this urban reality that, haven't really seen a model like this that serves themselves. A model such as this would never be implemented in the South Bronx or places like the South Bronx with people like the ones that live in the South Bronx. And so our model is to center community to address those issues of inequity, but also the realities of a changing neighborhood and some that will be left behind. It was during COVID that I launched in partnership with NYRP, the ReBORN Food Initiative, where we engage essentially at the Target community gardens, and we created a pilot program where we would be growing food for the community. Obviously, food is grown there by community members for themselves, etc. But the bigger sort of idea was to engage the greater community because COVID had hit and people had lost their jobs, and there was food scarcity going on unlike we had seen before. And so the idea was to grow food for the people, and that included the surrounding area, but also the community fridges that were popping up, that we would be refilling them with this locally grown food. And so the ReBORN Food Initiative really was the precursor to a lot of our engagement with ReBORN Farms. We saw it as, before we launched the farm, let's show an example of what the farm is. Obviously, we're not working with soil-based farming. We're engaging in hydroponics and in agricultural technology, but the mission is the same. And so as a result, it was a really successful project, and then it was implemented within NYRP, and we really couldn't be happier about that partnership and everything that it's brought. So the City Fellowship is, a godsend, because I often wanted to engage with agencies in the city, but found it a bit difficult sometimes. And so this fellowship has allowed me now to connect with not just the agencies, but also other stakeholders, to allow for the ideas that we've been working on for many years, for 8-9 years, to come to fruition. For these ideas to be listened to be also respected, because they come from the community with the community in mind. And so the fellowship has really allowed for those connections, but also in many ways have fortified our project because we get to engage on a deeper way in terms of development and in terms of the economic component of it, in terms of also the social component of it, as well as the ecological. Oh my God, the future is beyond bright. It's promising because it relies on people and it relies on community to really see it through. There is no way forward without thinking of the people and centering these ideas around democratizing food with the people, specifically here on the ground in the South Bronx. And so ReBORN Farms, the aim is to create the realities of growing food and having food justice engaged here in the South Bronx, but also beyond, also in every neighborhood in New York City. Every neighborhood just deserves to be uplifted, and more importantly, they need to uplift themselves, and this is a way that we think we can move forward. Man, to the youth, I would say that they have the answers within them, that there aren't any small, I would say, ideas. A lot of the answers to the realities in the community or the issues in the community, the youth already understands and know, and they just need to, in many ways, realize that and trust themselves that, you know, they have viable solutions and viable ideas, and that their ideas matter, and that no idea is too crazy, because they are actually in touch with what's going on and being affected. And they know what should be occurring in their environment. And so to trust themselves with ideas that they may have or whatever emotions that come up about whatever it is that they're experiencing, because they are the way forward, I would say. If you would like to know more about the projects that we're proposing for the community here, specifically in Mott Haven, you can follow us at ReBORN Farms on Instagram and on LinkedIn. You can also engage with us on the website, www.rebornfarms.com. I would love to engage with all of you.
That's all for our show today. Thank you for tuning in.
To learn more about Niño de la Caridad Foundation, visit us online at niñodelacaridad.com.
Also follow us at Niño de la Caridad Foundation on social media. We look forward to seeing you next time here on Leaders of the Future.